It is Thursday the 5th of July 2018, and as you can see I'm getting the bee kit on because we're going to do a check of the hives for honey. Hopefully we've got some honey that we can take off and sell at the market that we're going to on Saturday. So we have 2 days left to get ready for it. Now here on our main livestock allotment we have 6 hives. 4 of them are swarm hives, the swarms that formed just a few weeks ago. So they won't have any honey on them, and I'm not be checking them today. The 5th hive is actually a very small one, which we didn't expect to survive the winter, but miraculously it did, and it does seem to have been growing. But again, because it's a small hive, we're not going to be taking any honey off that one. We're just going to, at some point soon, we'll monitor it, we'll check it when we check the swarm hives, but that's not a job for today. Now we've got one hive next to me here which is a good size hive, and it has a super on the top of it ready to collect the honey. Now I'm not expecting a great deal of honey in there because the super went on quite late, but we're going to check it anyway, because if there's anything, if the super is full, then we'll take that honey off. Well, the first thing I've noticed is that the frames at this end haven't been touched yet, but up to this one here they've certainly drawn out the comb, which means that these ones here hopefully will have some honey on. Let's just check that. Oh boy. Oh, beautiful. Good amount of honey on there. That one is full. It hasn't been sealed, hasn't been capped on the other side, so they're obviously still working on that one. So with this hive, I'm going to leave it for a few weeks yet before we take off the honey. So we'll just let them fill that one up. So here on our far side allotment we have 3 hives. One of them is a swarm hive, so again we won't be opening that to check for honey, but we've got 2 strong hives here which we got originally last year that replaced the stock that we lost in previous years. And because they're strong hives, I'm quite hopeful, and I'm hoping I'm not tempting fate by saying this, but I'm hopeful that we'll get a honey crop on these ready to come off. Well, there was nothing in the top box that we put on, but just looking through here, it looks as though there's a lot of capped honey that we'll know for certain in a moment. Nice and relaxed, these bees. And as you can see, lovely honey, nicely capped. So what I'm going to do is just check the other end of this super, and again it's looking pretty much like it's all capped. Certainly all the frames seem to have been used. And again, yep, beautiful honey crop there. So this is to come off today. So all I've got to do now is take the bees out of this super into that spare one that was on top of it. Right, this other hive, I'm not sure whether I should feel disappointed or just feel it's a bit odd, but it was made up from a brood and a half. Now that means it had a sort of brood box at the bottom, and for reasons we're not got into, it also had a super on it. The super is normally kept for collecting the honey, but actually the queen had access to it, so we expect it to be full of brood. And then a box on the super on top of that, where we would have expected the honey to be collected with the queen excluder underneath. It has nothing in it, so the bees aren't using it. And having just looked at the some of the frames in the brood and a half box, it seems to be that they are filling it with honey and there's no brood in there. Which is useful because that means that if they continue doing that, then we can crop it later. But at the minute it's nowhere near being ready to be cropped because most of the honey in it is uncapped. In fact, most of it is empty comb. So clearly they're using the brood box in the bottom, and they're making that's we're operating fully as a proper hive should do. The queen hasn't come up to lay in the super, so if that continues, then yes, we'll get a honey crop from that. It's just I'm a bit disappointed, given that how strong this colony was, that it's actually not produced us a honey crop yet. But we've got a crop from one hive, so we can't have everything in one go. So what I'll do now is just gently put these frames back together. I took one out and they just need to go back together. As you can see, it is a very strong colony, and this one last year caused me an awful lot of trouble when we put it in, because it had to be done in the middle of the night and I got stung about 50 or 60 times. In fact, I almost came down with some kind of shock, which wasn't particularly pleasant. It's the histamine reaction, I think it was, to it, because I just started itching everywhere after I got multiple stings. Since then it's been a very relaxed colony. I hope they're not famous last words.